In a world of mass production compromises, it's nice to review something a little different, and in this video that's going to be the Ollo S4R studio headphones. Hi folks, I'm Mike and I hope you're well. So a few weeks ago I was on a live stream with some of my favourite music YouTubers when I noticed that one of them, Marlon from White Noise Studio, was wearing a pair of headphones that I didn't recognise, and he was talking rather enthusiastically about them, which had me intrigued. So I reached out to their makers, Ollo Audio from Slovenia, and they sent me the latest version of their recording headphones, the HPS S4Rs. Now this latest 2021 version of these headphones has improvements based upon feedback from their community, so I was even more intrigued when I heard that. Now, they didn't require me to say anything in this video at all. I'm not being paid. Everything you're going to hear is my true and honest opinion. But before I give you that, let's take a look at the specs. The hand-built Ollo Audio S4Rs are a closed-back headphone, so they're more suited to the recording phase of production. They have a frequency response from 20 Hz to 20 kHz, an SPL of 111 decibels and are 32 ohms, so they should work well with any audio interface and even something like a smartphone. The unboxing experience is true to the hand-built messaging, the plain cardboard box, the hand-filled certificate of authenticity and the padded paper wrap all give the sense that a real human being popped these in the box for you, as the company often notes, on the edge of the Alps. Inside you get the detachable cable and a nice carrying case. You are then left with the headphones themselves, which from the moment you lift them from the box ooze quality. Probably the most noticeable aspect of the exterior is the 90mm ear cups made of American walnut. Not American walnut look, but actual wood, folks. Plastic is sparingly used, with both the back covers and the headband being made of metal also. The extremely comfortable acoustic foam earpads are covered in an extra elasticity poly leather, with the part making contact with your skin being a velour material. Although the round-shaped earpads have an outer diameter of 90mm and an inner diameter of 55mm, I found that my ears fit snugly inside, at least enough for some great sound isolation properties. But I would note that if you have larger ears, you may get different results to me. The NAUTIC leather headband seems to have some sort of smart internal adjustment, which means the headphones automatically fit your head and still provide good support. That's important because although these headphones weigh in at 383 grams, they feel well supported by the whole mechanism. By the way, all of the parts that I've mentioned so far, in fact every part of the headphone, is available as a spare part from the Ollo website. You can even get things like back plates with a custom logo. You start to get a sense of things being well thought out when you notice that the cable connectors are angled slightly forward so that the cable hangs nicely over your shoulders. The cable connects here with some dinky 2.5mm connectors which fit very snug but still give the impression that they may pop out for you if you should tread on the cable. That cable happens to be a 2 meter long straight cable that has a regular 3.5mm jack with a 1/4 inch adapter also provided. I like the fact that this is a Y cable as opposed to the majority of cables that attach on one side and internally connect to the other side. It seems more symmetrical and therefore more kind of balanced to me. So I think it's worth noting that when you visit the Ollo website, they have exactly 2 models of headphone available, both 100% intended for studio use, an open back and a closed back version. Now this is in contrast to the mainstream manufacturers who will also produce consumer headphones, earbuds, phone headsets, and will also have a range of headphones labelled as studio headphones. Now you would hope as a bare minimum that those studio headphones have a reasonably flat frequency response. More on that later. But there's really more to studio headphones than just that. There's considerations like durability, maintainability, long-term comfort, things like the cable used. These are all things which add towards some great studio headphones. So there's no doubt in my mind that Ollo are perfectly positioned to focus on those attributes of headphones and deliver on the promise of being studio headphones. Now this latest 2021 version, as I say, has been improved based upon community feedback. And a couple of areas they've really focused on is sound isolation and frequency response. So in case you're not aware, many famous models of consumer headphones will have what we call hyped frequencies, often in the low and the high end. These are exaggerated ranges of frequencies which are there so that the headphones appeal to a majority of consumers. And there's nothing wrong with that for listening to music for pleasure, but that works against you big time when you're trying to use them for mixing. You will tend to overcompensate for those exaggerated frequencies, which will result in a mix which sounds great on some systems but absolutely terrible on others. So for the studio, we're looking for headphones which give a much flatter response. Now, I'm not aware of any headphones at the moment which give a completely flat response, which is why you hear some differences even between studio headphones, but we want them to be as close as possible. Now, these definitely live up to that kind of promise from the use I've had from them so far. So I don't think you're really going to have any problems there at all. But I actually don't think that that is the most important attribute for this particular model of headphone. So before I get into what I think is the most important attribute in terms of this model of headphone, let me ask you, if you are enjoying this video, could you go ahead and hit the like button for me? Do it right away so that you don't forget. And if you do like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so that you're notified about my future videos. So what's the most important attribute for this particular model of headphones? Well, their intended use is for recording or tracking. So they're going to be on the head of an artist while they're performing. So what we don't want is for sound to bleed from these headphones into a nearby microphone. So we're talking about sound isolation. Now, in this aspect, these headphones are at least on par, if not better, than my favorite model of headphones so far for this particular aspect. I'm talking about the Sennheiser HD 280 Pros. They are excellent in terms of sound isolation or bleed. But the important thing about these are they're much more comfortable, and that's very important when your artist is performing, that they just feel free and comfortable and they don't feel irritated by the headphones being on their head. So that's really important. Now, I will say these are still excellent in terms of being used for mixing, but even Ollo themselves admit that they're not the best of their two models in terms of mixing. So I reached back out to my friend Marlon again, who's been using his Ollos for mixing, to ask him all about that. Let's see what he had to say. Hey Marlon, nice to see you again, and I hope you're well.
Hey Mike, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Now, you're a bit of a long-term user of Ollo headphones, right?
Yeah, I have been using Ollo audio headphones for a while now. I first started with the first series S4 and S4Rs, and those were already excellent. And now with these S4X, Ollo audio has taken that quality even further.
So what is it that you like so much about them?
Well, the Ollos are the first headphones I can reliably mix on.
Okay, so what's your kind of process with that? Do you mix entirely on headphones?
Usually I'll start with prepping my mixes and masters on these headphones by removing resonances and so forth.
Okay, so you're kind of starting off with them.
I then move to speakers to continue, but I always use the Ollos as a secondary reliable reference.
Ah, okay, I see.
And actually I have done mixes on these Ollos and that translated really well. That by itself is quite a feat.
Absolutely. Well, I know you're a busy guy, Marlon, so thank you so much for giving us your thoughts.
And thank you.
Okay, so what I didn't tell you about Marlon here is he's really quite fussy about what gear he uses. So his opinion really does carry some weight for me personally. Now, what are my thoughts on the pros and cons of these headphones? Now, before I get into the pros of these headphones, if you've got any questions at all, please do ask in the comments down below. Also, check the link in the description for these headphones. They've got a really good FAQ section on their website. While you're in the description, check out my link for patreon.com, where for as little as $1 per month, you can help me help you by making more videos like this. So, the pros of this headphone. There are many. If it doesn't show already, I really love these headphones. The build quality is amazing. The comfort is amazing. The sound is fantastic. And, you know, just the little design features in it, like, you know, the fact that you can exchange all the parts, that the cables point nicely forward over your shoulders. I just love all of that stuff. So there's lots and lots of pros for these particular headphones. Now, if you happen to buy them and you don't agree, the good thing is they do offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can return them and get your money back. So there's not too much risk involved there. When you go to pay for them as well, well. They do seem to offer an installment program. I don't know the details of that. You'll have to check that out from them. But, you know, if they seem a little expensive for you at the full price, then you do have that option available. And if you do pay the full price, they currently work out with current exchange rates to around about $400 US. Now, I know that's not a budget price, and a lot of you will go, wow, that's probably the most expensive headphones you may ever buy. But these are not budget headphones. They don't have a budget build quality. They don't have budget features. As I say, you get what you pay for. So very impressed with them so far. Now, could they be improved at all? Well, maybe. So I've seen some other YouTubers suggest that they think there might be an issue with this metal headband. What they say is that if you knock into it or something, that it resonates. And you'll definitely hear that. I'll just hold up to my microphone just out of shot here. You can hear that. Of course, metal resonates when something bangs into it. So what they're saying is, especially when you've got it on your head, if you knock into anything at all, that resonates through your ears. Some of them have even suggested that Ollo might add some dampening or something to reduce that. I think that's a bit extreme, and if you don't mind me saying, a little bit nitpicky, because why not just not knock into the headphones when you're using them for tracking? Okay, I'm being a little bit flippant here, because one guy did suggest that even just playing music through them when he was wearing them, he was getting this to resonate in an uncomfortable way. Now, I have tried my hardest to replicate that with all different kinds of music, different volumes, etc., and I just can't replicate it. But I thought I would mention it because some other people have mentioned it. But I sort of feel that if you can get it to do that through just playing music, then you'd have to be listening to that music really, really loud. And I don't suggest you ever do that, especially if you value the quality of your hearing. So, look, you know, that was one of the things that other people have mentioned. As I say, I didn't experience it. Now, one suggestion I would have has to do with the cable. I actually love the cable that comes with it. It's a straight cable. But recently I did some surveys on my own channel and on Facebook as well. Lots of people responded to see whether people prefer straight or curly cables. And it turns out that the vast majority of you do actually prefer straight cables, like the cables that come with these headphones. However, a sizable proportion of people, and I'd say it was around about 15% or so, said that in certain situations they actually prefer coiled cables. Now, although they're in the minority, I think it would be great if we could still serve them with that need. Now, I'm not suggesting that that Ollo would put a coiled cable in the box with these headphones when you buy them, but I do think it would be great to have a coiled cable available as a spare part on their website. That would be a big bonus, and that's going to keep everybody happy in all situations in terms of the cable. So that's really the only things I could suggest as cons. So thank you so much for joining me in this video. When you see me in the next video, you'll most likely see me wearing these headphones. Well, unless it's a video from the past, in which case I didn't have them then, but you know what I mean. So I'll see you in the next video.